Hey everyone, welcome back to this week's edition of the Maconi Setup Shop NIS Fix Tutorial. This week we are looking at the Phoenix Raceway because it's week 13, so strap in and let's get to it. Very important to know that with the changes coming in this build here for week 13, I'm not sure how relevant this video is going to be because of the rumored changes that are supposed to happen with this car. But nonetheless, I think the driving technique and all the points that I'm about to share are still going to translate. The car just might drive differently. Um, I am shifting only going into turn 3 at the start of the run. I'm downshifting from 4th to 3rd to help with the brakes because the tires aren't up to temperature. There's like next to no stopping power. So going into 3, you can see and hear the downshift. Trying to get down to that white line, you really got to get on that white or yellow line. Sorry, excuse me. You obviously don't want to hit the apron, but you desperately want to be on that yellow line through turn 3 and 4. The middle, the top, once the tires are worn, I think might be okay. But the best way to get around 3 and 4 is to just wrap that bottom. Unlike 1 and 2, where you have a bunch of options, 3 and 4, you kind of just melt your tires here. So you want to practice getting onto that yellow line. And I like to try to get back into the throttle around the start of that restart box. Depending on how my tires are, I find that the restart zone is a great visual to get back on the gas. That way you're not getting into it too soon and sliding up and hitting the fence, and you're not waiting way too long and having absolutely no momentum off the corner. Speaking of tires, taking care of your equipment is going to mean a lot here. This car already has the quote lower downforce package on it for these types of racetracks. Okay, Iowa was the same way with a fixed. The car drives very similar. There's nowhere near as much downforce on this car as there was, say, a few months ago. Okay, it definitely drives differently. You can feel it. It's very noticeable. Okay, here I obviously missed the bottom of 3 and 4. That was the first lap that I did not shift going into turn 3. Okay, so I honestly think about lap 5-ish. Traffic's going to dictate how you can get around. I think lap 5-ish is about that number where I would stop shifting to save your tires, because when you're in third gear trying to accelerate, you've obviously got more RPM. You're going to spin the wheels a little bit more. It's going to help burn that right rear tire. Okay, and taking care of the right rear tire, I think, is going to be the biggest thing in this race, because without drive off here at Phoenix, you're in trouble. Okay, now to turn 1. I personally like wrapping the yellow line. I think it's the best way to save tires. It's obviously slower, I know that, but you save tires. The thing about turn 1, you want to get the straightest launch possible. Now, it's a lot easier to do by running in the middle. Yes, the PJ1 is modeled. It's not visible, but it is modeled and you can feel it. It's in that second and third lane. Now, I'm going to demonstrate one of these laps. It might be this one where I go all the way up into this third lane. Okay, it's not this one. It might be the next one. You can go all the way up into that third lane. However, in the race, when there's a bunch of cars on the track and it heats up, that's when it's really effective. In this solo car, it's not very effective because it's not worked in. Okay, but in the race, you can travel up to that third lane and get a really big launch off. However, you want to be exiting down the racetrack. You're not necessarily trying to hold the third lane. Okay, so as we can see here, we're up in this third lane. The car rotates. You can get in the gas hard. There's a lot of grip, but see how I'm coming down? That's how you want to exit the corner. If you try to hold that third lane, the only place you're going to exit to is in the wall. Okay. Uh, Again, it is useful to go up there, just not early, I don't think. Like once the track heats up and takes rubber and all that fun stuff, you'll feel the grip up there. A lot of people are going to move up. It's very hard to make a pass on the bottom unless you're in the second lane. But if you can take care of your tires and have that drive off, you're going to be successful. Because really, Phoenix has always been about that drive off. Don't overcook the corner. It's much better to back your corner up, hit your marks, instead of overdriving the center and missing. Okay, we'll go back a few laps here and do the in-car while I try to give you guys some pointers as well. Another thing, this apron. Without cutting the apron, you're literally giving up 3/4 of a tenth to a full tenth just by not cutting the apron. I know it's crazy, but there's a lot of time to be lost there. Okay. So when you are trying to cut the apron, be careful. It's not as easy to spin the car out if you catch it wrong with the diffuser blades not being there, or the lack of diffuser blades, but it is still possible to do. So you want to try to make it a smooth transition, keep the wheels straight, and aim for it. If you cut across last second and have a lot of wheel input when you go down there, it's very easy to lose control. Okay? Be very careful of that. Again, all these corners, you're trying to get the straightest launch possible. I'll mute for this last lap so you guys can watch with no commentary, and I'll check back in as soon as this lap is over. Okay, guys, a couple things to go over again. 1 and 2, you want the straightest launch possible on exit. The way you achieve that more likely is by running what we call a diamond line or a double apex. I still think early on in the run, it's much better to wrap the yellow line. There is grip down there. It'll help pull the car around. It's not the fastest, but I find that it still helps save the tires. And then as the run goes on, if you are going to run in that second and third lane, it's very important to get the straightest launch possible. You don't want to have a lot of wheel input when you get in the gas. Let the car rotate. You'll find that as you're coming off the corner, your wheel is naturally going to straighten up. And that's what you want. That's going to help prevent getting loose, and it's also going to help your right rear and your right front because you don't have as much wheel input. Turn 3, if you find that you're not able to get to that yellow line, back it up. Okay, back it up to where you can get to that yellow line because you're going to notice the difference in grip. Okay, again, we don't know what changes we're going to have with this build. This video, I hopefully helps, but with the changes that are rumored to happen, this car might drive completely different. Okay, so if you do find that this video is helpful, please consider leaving a like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, as always, please leave a comment down below and I'll get back to them. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that sub button and ring the bell so you can see these videos every Monday when they're posted to the Maconi Setup Shop YouTube channel. Okay? Best of luck this week, guys, and we'll see you out on the track.